A wild night of action around the NBA, as there always is. We have big performances from Luka Doncic, Wemby, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Me and Pat are going to break it all down and more right after this.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for tuning in to Locked On NBA Game Night, where it's every game, every night. My name is Hayes. I'm one of the hosts of Locked On Bulls, and I'm joined by my co-host from Locked On Bulls and the host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm joined by Pat, the designer, on tonight's episode. We're pulling in the late shift tonight. Pat, there was 12 games going on around the NBA, so we got a lot to get into tonight. We're going to start off with the Lakers getting the win over the T-Wolves today. Luka Doncic followed up a 43-point opening night loss to the Golden State Warriors with coming into this game and just going absolutely nuclear. How do you feel about this game, brother?
Listen, I think the chance of MVP, say all you needed to hear 2 games in, hey, we get an MVP chance in this game. I mean, you saw Luka go out there and make Lakers history, becoming just the 4th player in NBA history, joining Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, and Anthony Davis to start this game off with back-to-back 40, start the season off with back-to-back 40-point games. Absolutely a dominant performance. He's shooting a ridiculous percentage from the field, 63% on the season right now. I mean, he's absolutely been a monster of a player, and he's making his Lakers tenure known here with a loud start. And it felt like, this was the Lakers game the entire way throughout the game. So no surprise that, when you get a dominant game like this out of Luka, 49 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, that the Lakers come out of this with a victory. But it just felt like the Lakers had control the entire game.
Absolutely. And I think also, like, when Luka playing like this, it's important for the other players on the Lakers to figure out how to play off that, right? To have efficient nights. And they did that tonight. Austin Reeves went 9 of 15 for 25 points. Rui Hachimura only took 13 points to get 23 shots. Hell, even DeAndre Ayton, 7 for 11 with 15 points, 8 rebounds, and a block from him. There's been times where Ayton has not necessarily moved as fluidly as he needs to as the big that's going to be out there with Luka. I still have my questions about the pairing long term. But, those guys in that starting lineup all performed. But, Pat, it's a lot of positive to talk about. Luka's been playing great. One of the problems with this Lakers team is that they are very top heavy. Only 11 total bench points today. Now, when Luka has 49 points, you can get away with that, right? But is there a concern about the Lakers and their bench performance, as the season goes on?
I think that at a certain point, right, you start to wonder, are guys going to get tired? But that question comes with the Luka body questions, right? I mean, like, if Luka continues to play like this and he stays in the shape that we're seeing him in, I don't think you have questions. You remember, in a month, he's going to get LeBron James back, who's got to be arguably the greatest number 2 to ever play with somebody, probably since Shaq and Kobe were paired up together. So I think that there's going to be a little bit more opportunity for those bench guys to get involved, and you're going to get more breathers there. I think it's early on in the season, and you're trying to set a tone here and leave a statement, especially with what Luka is doing. And I'll be honest with you, here's my big thing with all of that, right? If Luka was putting up 25 and you had 11 bench points, I would have a problem with that. But there's not a lot of space for the rest of these guys to go out there and score the basketball. There's only one ball to go around. You got Rui with 23. You got Austin with 25. You got Ayton with 15. You got Luka with 49. There's just not a ton of space for anybody else to really get involved in there, and you kind of just have to play your role in that situation. So I'm not concerned about the Lakers bench as of yet, because we haven't had a game where you've really needed to go to the bench yet. When we have that game where you need the bench to get heavily involved in a game plan, I think that's when we'll be able to see, okay, what is Luka going to be? Or what is that Lakers bench going to be?
Yeah, I mean, LeBron point is a huge one. Like, not having LeBron out there, that's $52 million. That's not playing for you right now. So you check that in. The gravity is going to be there. The on-off numbers are going to be important. Like, when Luka's off the court and LeBron's on, because that's really where you're looking to you can keep up so much pressure and a play style in that case. So the Lakers are going to be a fun team to watch this year. I still have my questions about them in the playoffs, but we're 2 games into the regular season. We'll worry about that once January hits. the Wolves in this game, you get 31 points from Anthony Edwards, 26 from Julius Randle. But like you said, despite losing this game by 18 points, they never really felt like they were truly in this game, especially after like the second quarter. Like you could say they won the first quarter, Minnesota did technically, but the Lakers, once they start going, they never look back in this game at all.
No, 100%. And I'll say this about the Wolves, if we want to talk about concerns, right? What happened to that Timberwolves defense that showed up at times last season in the playoffs? Like the defensive effort tonight, and I get it, it's Luka. There's not much you can do on that, right? You're basically going Ant-Man versus Luka in that situation to see kind of who's going to come out landing the bigger blow there, and Luka won that fight. But I mean, I thought that the pick and roll mastery from Luka and DeAndre Ayton today, dare I say, wild to say adding DeAndre Ayton's name into that. But like, it almost seemed like it had the Timberwolves defense completely confused. They had no answers for it. They weren't able to figure out, okay, how do we slow this down in the slightest? You saw a couple of times there where Julius Randle tried to hedge on that, and it was like, okay, well, clearly Luka's going to keep the basketball, so it doesn't matter. The ball handler has the ball in his hands. Or the ball handler is the one that's really running the show here, and that was Luka more times than not. And so, like, it just, again, some nights you go up against a competitor who is just dominant and there's nothing you can do, and that's what it felt like with Luka tonight. But I was a little concerned with the defensive response from the Timberwolves, because it wasn't like, right, Luka was getting these immensely tough shots that he was having to hit. A lot of the shots that Luka was able to hit were pretty good looks for a guy like Luka.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move into the next game, Pat, before we get out of this segment. Milwaukee Bucks 122 over the Toronto Raptors 116 in this. And we talk about early MVP candidates, which Luka absolutely is. You got to put Giannis's name in the hat, even though the level of competition is questionable that they face up until now. They beat the Wizards. They didn't beat the Raptors today. We'll see how good these teams end up being. But Giannis, a 31 point, 20 rebounds, 7 assists game. If those aren't MVP numbers, Pat, I don't know what are.
No, 100%. Listen, Giannis came out and it's efficient. My big thing when I'm watching the game, right? And unfortunately, in today's game, there's so many times where guys put up 40 and we go, "Oh my God, look at that! He put up 40 points." Then you start to look at the stat sheet and you go, "You put up 40 points on 40 shots? That's not that great of a day, actually." Yeah. Like, yeah, you got your 40 points, but you took 40 shots to get it. 31 points, 20 boards tonight. I mean, he was a dominant force. He shot 11 for 14 from the field, Hayes. When you shoot 11 for 14 from the field, getting to the free throw line, creating that way as well. Just about every bucket in this game came from inside of the paint. It just felt like a game where Giannis had to remind the world that when I'm going downhill, there's nothing you can do to slow me down. There's nothing you can do to stop me. There's nothing you can do to even knock me off of my game. And you got efficient, balanced offense from this Milwaukee Bucks team today. I thought, the 20 that you got was there to play around Giannis. I thought they shot the ball effectively. I thought they kept Toronto on their back foot for just about the entire game. And I know this game was close. This was a good, competitive game kind of down the stretch here, but like, realistically speaking, it never felt like they had an answer for Giannis. There's not many teams in the NBA that do have an answer for Giannis, but adding that little bit in that Gary Trent provided, that 20 that Gary Trent provided, I thought it really put them over the top.
Yeah, the role players in this one, Gary Trent, AJ Green, even though AJ Green only scored 9 points, Cole Anthony, some really important like buckets that were made in this game, especially as this game was a little bit closer. The theory has always been you get Giannis, you surround him with shooters, and you have a solid center. That's a recipe for success, especially in the Eastern Conference. That's how good Giannis is. That's how it's always worked in the Eastern Conference. And so far through, that looks really good. Now we'll see how it goes on. The Bucks have a grueling stretch coming up where I think is going to really tell us how good the Bucks really are. Like I said, the level of competition they face so far has been questionable. Over their next four, Pat, Cleveland, New York, Golden State, Sacramento. Then we can even go to Indiana if we're going the next five. Those games are going to be really tough games for them. And I think you're going to come out of that, and I think I feel more comfortable really looking at this Bucks team like they're going to be a tough team in the Eastern Conference after that.
Yeah, listen, I mean, I thought, we got to see what it's going to be versus better competition, but I thought what they showed at the end of the game, some of that late game poise, I mean, they outscored the Raptors 36-30 in the fourth quarter in a game where you had Brandon Ingram dominating just about the entire time, and RJ Barrett giving you some really good contributions as well. it was an impressive fourth quarter for that Milwaukee Bucks team. I thought that they executed everything extremely clean when it mattered most. I thought, Giannis was anchoring the paint for this team, and they looked like a team that, to me, was willing and ready to kind of say, we're in a dogfight right now. We need to grind this out to finish this game out, or we're going to lose this, and we'll go to the ends of the earth to make sure that we come away with this one. A very exciting start to the NBA season, and I love the fact that we're seeing teams give the level of effort that we saw from the Milwaukee Bucks tonight in the fourth quarter.
Absolutely. Me, you talked about that a little before we started recording that. This has been one of the best openings. Like, it's been a game, at least one game every single night. That's not just a good game. It's a great game. And a lot of these nights, you've gotten multiple of those, right? So we're going to talk about a few more of those on tonight's show, but we've got to the point now, Pat, where next up, we are going to be discussing, the Spurs and Wemby. Like, he started off the season on fire as well. We do got to get some messages from a couple of our sponsors, and the first one is Robinhood. Look at Pat on it, even on Locked On NBA. Your ambition just met its match. With Robinhood, you play for the win, not just on game day, every day. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again, channel the drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools. Or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. Your expert, you expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Also got to talk to you guys about DoorDash. The NBA season is heating up, and DoorDash has found the perfect way to keep fans in their bag all season long. Whether you're watching for highlights, your fantasy team, or just your favorite player, DoorDash makes every game night even better. DoorDash is the official on-demand delivery platform of the NBA, and they're celebrating with something called the bag drop. Every time an NBA player scores 50 points in a game, DoorDash drops 50% off your order with Dash Pass the next day, or you're automatically entered for a chance to win the ultimate fan bag. We're talking player-inspired drip, exclusive gear, and stuff you actually want. I love that it's not just food. You can get everything from snacks and drinks, headphones, ice, even socks, all delivered. DoorDash has you covered for late-night highlights, last-minute watch parties, and double OT fuel-ups. So the next time someone goes off for 50, use promo code NBA50 the next day to get 50% off DoorDash with Dash Pass. Plus your shot at the bag drop. Dash Pass members only, 50% off up to $10 the day after a 50-point game with promo code. Terms apply. No purchase necessary. Ends April 13th. Open to U.S. residents 21 and older. Visit DoorDashInYourBag.com for details. DoorDash, in your bag all season long. More Locked On NBA Game Night coming up next. All right, Pat, let's go ahead and get into the next set of games, bro. And we have to talk about Wemby and his 29-point, 11-rebound game and 9 blocks. But before we get into it, we do have the host of Locked On Spurs here with the clip on that. See how he felt about this game.
Of course, here with Locked On Spurs, here to give you a quick react for the Spurs win in overtime, 120-116 over the Pelicans. Say what you will about the numbers from Victor Wembanyama's near triple-double with 29 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 blocks. He did foul out in the extra frame. Say what you will about Devin Vassell, who stepped up his game with 23 points to keep the Spurs in it, or even Stephon Castle's 16 points. What you like about this win tonight was that it was an ugly, dirty win. This is a type of win that builds character. This is a type of slugfest this team needs to learn from. They're coming off the high versus Dallas, beating them soundly in their gym. And you go into an New Orleans team that was depleted. Nevertheless, the Spurs gutted this one out. Sure, they're 2-0 to start the season. That is phenomenal. That's great. That's how you want us to come out of the gates. But these are the wins that will help them down the road. These are the type of wins that make them learn from their mistakes. They cannot be coughing the ball up 18 times in the game. They can't do that. That's second chance opportunities for the opposition. This is the right kind of win, the right time early in the season, so they understand moving forward that, you got to do the little things to win. Making free throws at crucial moments. Stephon Castle missed 2 early ones that could have kept the game, a lot closer than what it was in overtime. But nevertheless, he missed them both. But that's a good thing. He'll learn from that. Same thing with Dylan Harper, trying to rush shots in the paint. And just coming back up with empty possessions. He'll learn from that. Even Victor Wembanyama, he doesn't have to swipe for everything and get ticky-tack fouls. There's good credit to the Spurs for winning without him, but nevertheless, Victor needs to learn that as well. And no business keeping a depleted Pelicans team in the mix in the game, but credit New Orleans. They fought to the bitter end. But again, for your San Antonio Spurs, this is the right type of win. An ugly win. They'll take it, and hopefully they'll take lessons learned into the next game.
All right, Pat. What the heck happened there? All right, there we go. All right, Pat. With that, man, Wemby, almost a triple-double with almost 10 blocks. He does fall out of this game. The Spurs, me and you have been in on guys like Devin Vassell for a while here on the Spurs team. Keep in mind, De'Aaron Fox hasn't been playing either for them, not quite yet, but this just looks like a team that if Wemby can stay healthy, this got to be a playoff team this season, right?
Bro, listen, he's not fair.
He's a cheat code, bro.
He's not. I don't know how much of this game you got to lock in on, bro. But it don't look natural watching him play basketball. It literally looks like it's so funny. When you play 2K online in the park and everybody's just like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that these guys are playing like this. Who's this built off of? Him." He's a video game character, 29, 11, and 9 blocks. And I think what's so intriguing about it is, right, the team that you have built around him, number one, you're finally going to him enough for him to make the impact that you want to see. And I think that you see a guy that's making a superstar league as far as them being a playoff team. If he keeps on this path, we may be talking about him being more than just a playoff team here. We may be talking about them being a team that's a real threat in the playoffs here. But what I love about this team is, right, when they go out there and you take a guy like Wemby off of the floor, you added in a guy this offseason in Luke Cornett, who would have thought we'd be having a Luke Cornett conversation here as two guys from Locked On Bulls. But of those 26 offensive boards that they had today, Luke Cornett was a big part of that. His hustle provided for 14 points, 12 rebounds, 9 of those boards offensively. And between him and Wemby, their length just wore the Pelicans down by the end of the day, and they had no answer for what they wanted to do. And I am incredibly impressed by what we've seen from this team overall. Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle, and Dylan Harper. I think those three you can also pinpoint as well as how well this team is playing early. Zion versus Wemby was must-see TV, but it was the parts all around them that made this game so intriguing.
Yeah, and talking about Zion, we spent a lot of time talking about the Spurs, rightfully so. They won this game. But Zion opened this game with a dunk. Now, it's been said it was a dunk on Wemby. Wemby kind of came in there at the last second.
That was body to body.
That is true.
If I'm giving you the body to body,
was that Wemby's first time getting dunked on like that viciously? I know he's been dunked on before.
Nah, remember Kobe got him.
Kobe did get him.
Remember Kobe White got him body to body,
vert, which was crazy.
Yeah,
Kobe got him with straight vert.
I ain't gonna lie to you. And listen, when you go for blocks, I get it. He's a giant.
He's gonna get dunked on a lot.
You're gonna get dunked on, right? There's gonna be some posters, and they're gonna be blasted around the world because you got dunked on in this moment. You're the block shots guy, but you blocked 9 shots tonight. It's not like you lost the matchup tonight. And Zion played phenomenally. 27 points, 10 rebounds. But overall, I mean, a good amount of those blocks, the dunk is going to get publicized, but a good chunk of those blocks are on Zion Williamson. So, he won the matchup at the end of the day.
You win some, you lose some in that case. But moving into the next game that we have, Detroit Pistons 115 over the Houston Rockets 111. We do got this from Kuka Hill, the host of Locked On Pistons.
A fantastic answer from the Detroit Pistons after dropping an unacceptable loss to the Chicago Bulls. They respond with a great, gritty win over the Houston Rockets. Host of Locked On Pistons podcast, Kuka Hill here. The Detroit Pistons get a win in Houston. Asar Thompson outplays his brother Amen Thompson. Jalen Duren gets ejected earlier in the game. Doesn't matter. Guys step up. Paul Reed comes through. Kudos player of the game. came through, incredible defense down the stretch, had 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 block in the fourth quarter. Some key plays in the offensive end of the floor, some key offensive rebounds. Just great hustle from him. This was a game won by everybody. Chaz Lanier had good minutes. Dennis Jenkins came into spare Cade for 2 minutes in the fourth quarter, hit a 3 to extend the lead, came right back out. But he had that impact in just those few minutes. Javonte Green came through. Duncan Robinson had a much better game. You saw how much better the half-court offense looked now that they had their shooter hitting shots. And Cade, after struggling through 3 quarters, came through in the fourth quarter and closed out the Houston Rockets. A great way to get on the win, get in the win column, And the Pistons will be back at it on Sunday against the Boston Celtics, hoping to extend their win streak to 2.
So the Rockets and the Pistons come into this game trying to avoid 0-2 starts. The Pistons, of course, come away with this game. Cade Cunningham, the leading scorer for the Pistons in this game with 21 points. He's second leading, though. Kevin Durant did have 37. Pat, the Rockets, the Pistons, I don't know how you view each one of these teams. Like, the Rockets have had some solid games. They just haven't been able to come out with the win yet. But you see how things are going to work there. They're a new team. They still don't have a point guard. The Pistons are the team that's the up-and-coming team that people are questioning, like, have they actually arrived in this Eastern Conference? How far can they go? How do you feel about this game? How do you feel about both teams?
Listen, first off, the disrespect from Koo that, a game that shouldn't have been dropped to the Chicago Bulls. All right, bro. Like, Jesus. Like, we
were leading by 23, but, we're not going to make it Pistons.
Come on, dog. I mean, like that was crazy work, dog. But anyway, no, listen, I think that when you look at both of these teams, number one, this is a historic win for JB Bickerstaff. This is his 300th career coaching victory. So shout out to JB Bickerstaff for getting that one there. But I just thought, listen, Kevin Durant is still a problem. I think that you have all the pieces in place. It's new in Houston, and you're trying to figure it out. I'm not surprised Houston lost this game. What killed them again? Late game execution, just like in the opener, right? Like, they were missed free throws down the stretch. There were a ton of defensive lapses. I actually felt like you overcorrected, where in the first game I was like, do you not know you have Kevin Durant playing for your team right now? Get him the basketball. I felt like in this game, it was, oh my God, we have Kevin Durant playing for our team. Only get him the basketball. And I felt like you didn't take advantage of your matchups. And listen, like, you allowed, you rallied multiple times, but you allowed the Pistons to go over on a 6-0 run and really take control in the final minutes of the game. Like, you could see KD didn't have the answer in that moment. Where are the rest of the guys that need to be involved in there? As far as the brother-on-brother matchup, though, Asur dominated tonight, and I thought that it was good to see. You needed him to have that kind of a game for you to pull this one out, and I think you needed everybody to get involved. And one thing that's going to be under-talked about in this game from the Detroit Pistons, that's probably going to be talked about throughout the entire season, and of course on Locked On Pistons, Paul Reed's defense was phenomenal tonight. I thought it was game changing. I thought it was incredibly lockdown. I thought it was a brick wall down in the plane. Had a clutch block on Alperen Sengun with 15 seconds left on the clock that really sealed the game. Like, there was some really good moments tonight defensively for the Pistons, where, in that first game versus Chicago Bulls, we didn't see nearly enough of those moments for them to close out that game.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Well, we're going to get into it. We're going to wrap it up. We got 8 more games to get into, Pat, before we end this show, man. Let's go ahead and get into the next segment. Pat got something for y'all. Ready?
Were you ready? You
No,
said, I'm ready. Were you
not.
ready? Let's be real. Making excuses doesn't solve anything, and we've heard them all before. It's just stress. I'm tired, and it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body needs a little bit of extra support, and that's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet.com offers fast-acting, doctor-prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rugiet makes it easy to get started. You just connect with a board-certified doctor, 100% online, no awkward waiting rooms, no in-person appointments, and if prescribed, your treatment ships directly and discreetly straight to your door. The process is fast, simple, and private, and it's all handled by real doctors. So visit rugiet.com/LockedOnNBA to get 15% off your first order. That's rugiet.com/LockedOnNBA. And don't forget to use our code LockedOnNBA so they know we sent you. Rugiet, stop making excuses and start making moves. We also got to tell you guys all about FanDuel. Listen, the NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer that you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $300 back in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets. That's right. So go to FanDuel.com right now. It makes watching football even more exciting when you've got a little bit of something riding on the action, whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats. FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. More Locked On NBA coming up next.
All right, Pat, let's go round robin, man.
I don't remember the last time we just ran through ad reads regularly.
Yeah, I know, right? It's been a minute. Blazers 139 over the Warriors 119 in this game. How you feeling about this one? Steph did score 35 points in this game.
Listen, I thought that this was a game where you really saw the Blazers, the competition, the bounce back, the confidence that you saw from the Portland Trail Blazers. I thought was I'm not going to say surprising, but with everything going on around that organization right now, I would say that it was encouraging to see, because the one thing that me and you both said to start the season, right, is the Blazers are probably going to surprise some people. I'm not saying they're going to be an elite team throughout the season, but I thought the game that we saw tonight was very indicative of a team that has started to put some things together and hasn't missed. And Deni Avdija had a absolutely career night, 26 points, 6 assists. He led Portland the entire time. I thought that Tiago Splitter did a good job, with some of the rotations, the different things like that. Now, I don't know how much he had to do if the game plan was kind of already in place for him, but I thought he managed the game pretty well. And I thought it was a balanced effort, dog. Like Jeremy Grant had 22, Kamara had 19, Shaedon Sharpe had 17, Donovan Clingan had 14, Chris Murray and Matisse Thybulle combined for 23 points in this game. Like, you had a lot of really good pieces for you to go to today, and it made it easy for the Blazers pretty much throughout the entire game. I get it. Steph dominated this game as far as a score and was a threat the entire time. I thought both sides were pretty deadly from the three ball, which kind of fits to a Stephen Curry game. He had his own 8-0 run by himself throughout this game in the first quarter and had a 4-point play in the third quarter. It was a very Stephen Curry type of game, but this was a game where it kind of felt like the Blazers had a handle on it the entire time. And I thought that Deni Avdija did a really good job kind of keeping the team on the course and keeping them focused.
Yeah. It was a great performance. They can get this win despite some drama off the court going on around them. But let's get into
I wouldn't bet on them.
I wouldn't bet on them. It's crazy. Get into the next one. The New York Knicks get a win over the Boston Celtics 105-95. We got a message here from John Corrales.
Disaster second quarter doomed the Celtics. Their inability to rebound has cost them this game and will cost them more games. That's just how this season is going to go. I'm John Corrales from Locked On Celtics. The Celtics gave up 21 offensive rebounds. They lost the second chance points battle 21-7. We've always known the Celtics are going to be a bad defensive rebound team. The question was, can they get enough so the other things that they do well could carry them to some wins? That was not the case in this game. They gave up a 42-point second quarter, their second 42-point quarter of the season, mostly because they turned the ball over, they fouled too much, and they couldn't grab a rebound. The Celtics need to rebound better. They know it. We know it. They got a bad game from Derek White, who was 5 of 18. They had a bad game from Jaylen Brown, who did shoot 50%, but was a -14 and had 7 turnovers. They had a terrible shooting night from Peyton Pritchard, 1 of 7 from 3. The bright spot was Hugo Gonzalez, who at 19 years old did not shy away from the moment. So a little bit of a positive there, but the Celtics, if they're not going to shoot well, they need to do other things well. They did too many things poorly. They were down by 24. Good job getting it close, I guess, but not a great one for the Celtics.
Definitely not a great one for the Celtics. I have nothing left to add on that one because not a great one for the Celtics is basically the best way to wrap that one up.
No, 100%. Listen, the Celtics were abysmal on the boards tonight. They got out rebounded 21-8 on the offensive boards. Like John said, that really led to that explosive 42-14 second quarter. 42-14 is nuts. Like, you got to know, you got to find a way to stop the bleeding there. I'm not gonna lie to you. I get it. We want to praise everything that Boston has done over these last couple of years. I thought that was an ugly quarter from that Boston Celtics coaching staff. You didn't do enough to try and stop the bleeding. I get it. There's only certain stuff that you can do, but there were too many runs that were allowed in that 42-14 stretch. You didn't do enough to get your team back on track. And in a day where Jaylen Brown wasn't a terrible player, right? He wasn't horrible today. I thought that he was actually, kind of contributing well, but there's only so much that you can do. And when it comes down to it, the rebounding issues that you saw out of this Boston team that probably will be indicative of them the entire season, because they really don't have the bigs to really go out there and compete in that manner anymore, because you got rid of all of them to clear so much cap space here. That may be the storyline of this Boston team the entire time, unless you get really good at team rebounding and gang rebounding. It's going to be a long year for Boston on the boards.
Definitely going to be a long year. Moving on from that one, Hawks get the win over the Magic, 111-107. Pat, any takes from this game?
Not surprised. I thought it really got close in that fourth quarter, and I thought that was, kind of shocking to see. The Magic, who felt like they had a little bit of control throughout this game. In fact, you had Paolo, who didn't have a great game, but your team was doing a pretty good job of staying afloat. But I thought, as we started to see this game close out, Atlanta just kind of put their foots on their throats and never looked back. And it kind of felt in that fourth quarter to me where Orlando gets outscored 33-21. It was like Orlando could see what was coming and what was happening, and they couldn't figure out any way to say, we just need to figure out how to slow down anybody in this game. I thought this was a good one for the Hawks, a Hawks team that, I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't have a ton of belief in, but when you get Trae Young scoring 6 of his 25 points in the final 46 seconds of the game to lead you to that 111-107 win, and Franz Wagner's your best player when you got a squad that's got Paolo Banchero and Desmond Bane on it, I think that this one kind of played out how you expected it by the end. A thrilling finish to this game. A game that you thought Orlando was going to be able to kind of close out. But listen, sometimes that guy Trae Young, I'm not the biggest believer in what his skill is. I think he's a inefficient shot chucker more times than not. But when he gets hot, he's a dangerous player, and you got to watch out for him.
That's a fact. Other games around the NBA as we come down to the wire here. We got 30 seconds. The Cavs get a win over the Nets, 131-124. The Heat get a win over the Grizzlies, 146-114. I wish we would have been able to dive a little bit more into that game. The Wizards over the Mavs, 117-107. The Jazz get a win over the Kings, 105-104. Then the Clippers beat the Suns, 129-102. But that is going to be it for Locked On NBA Game Night for tonight. Make sure you guys are locked in and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well as the podcast side of things as well. Locked On NBA is available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, Fubo TV. Basically, anywhere you want to get your Locked On NBA content, you can get it. We'll see you guys next Friday, y'all. Peace.